All right, it is currently 8:33 in the morning, and you've already seen the light source and the engineer light. So this is just capturing video, which again, this is going toward the prosecution of the state of California, which is why I want to show the great juxtaposition of what is Route 61. This is documentation, this is federal prosecution of another company, the malicious guise under which federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. It's exactly what Speaker Companies is engaging in. It's exactly what Nova Contractors is engaging in. And it's, first of all, criminal presence. This is how a government is able to engage in 24-hour ceaseless surveillance. This is why everyone that lives at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison. This is why Speaker Companies and Todd Speaker is going to be federally prosecuted for what is providing the malicious guise under which federal group stalking and monitoring, a matter of public corruption is underway. The people of the state are engaging in what is a system of criminal surveillance in concert with the government. And at 8:33 in the morning, while I'm on third-party group stalker Omnitrans, which again has been heavily documented as not only before I came to Los Angeles, but then as you have more vivid illustrations of what is sunlight that would never ever be present. That is directed light. That is the impossible light activity, which seeing it on the walls and on the floors is another iteration, because you're also seeing it on my ceilings. You're seeing it in the hallway. You're seeing my shadow appear above my head. You're seeing multiple shadows as I'm inside of my apartment. Impossible light activity, flashing of light activity, while I just so happen to be in the midst of talking about how the demon-possessed surround and how they are engaging in demonic light and presence in that demonic light. And this is documentation of what Universal Waste was engaged in this morning. The ongoing act of terrorism. This engineer light that you see on the wall, this is what was coexisting with what was the criminal presence by Universal Waste Systems engaging in ongoing impunity yet again Friday morning in the dark, where impossible light activity, which I captured in still images, and I have already published it. So this is the same company engaging in what is grounds of federal prison. The employees of that company are going to federal prison. They are systematically and ceaselessly engaged in not only federal stalking in violation of Title 18, but also terrorism, filling the bedrooms inside of my dark room where they're arriving at nightfall. Understand how terrorizing that is, how much of a demon these employees are engaging in the state's criminal pattern of conduct. An engineer light is moving all about my walls while a demon is operating a truck with the logo Universal Waste Systems Inc. on the side of it, while they are present engaging in what? Painting the apartment of 1803? Oh, cleaning the sidewalks and cleaning out the laundry room like smart janitorial? No, Universal Waste is coming in, emptying the garbage at the facilitating venue in the engineered light. That's the ongoing act of terrorism that Universal Waste engaged in, and let me be clear, that heavily documented third parties going to federal prison. The entity is maintaining the light source here, as you saw in still images, and it remains here. The entity, which is a demon-possessed one, is engaging in what is malice, and that's speaking to what is enhanced time in federal prison, not only by the state that's acting via these corrupt law enforcement agencies who you saw flying in a circle for 47 minutes in front of my apartment. All of the people of the state are engaging in monitoring right now. They're all going to be federally prosecuted. You're removing a whole population from the children that live in this environment, engaging in monitoring in the private space. That's what the sex offender is doing. I want to make sure that you understand this is an engineered light, this is in relevant position, and this is with ongoing real-time knowledge of what I'm saying at the same time while you're looking at impossible light activity appear inside of my apartment. And let me be clear, Nova Contractors and all 59 units are going to be prosecuted while you're witnessing impunity. This is a demon operating any means of making noise entirely focused on me while you are looking at the light source, okay? There is no sun that's going to be present over the through the windshield of Omnitrans Route 61 while a demon keeps their back to you, crossing paths in the engineered light with the audible activity. That's 1806 number 5 who's going to federal prison. That's documented impunity. The entity is maintaining the light source over the windshield of Route 61 while I am at the intersection of what is Inland Empire Boulevard and Haven in Rancho Cucamonga at the Ontario Airport Hotel, a third-party facilitating venue. And as I'm documenting the pattern of conduct in that video on April 26, 2022, at the same time where you are witnessing the criminal pattern of conduct underway by the people of the state. That's why she's going to federal prison, her and everybody else. This is the same impunity by that sex offender, Iris Carnero. Let me be clear, all you're doing is changing names. They're engaging in the same exact criminal system, all right? I want to make sure that you're understanding what is impunity here, while this demon is making sure that they are present for purposes of creating nothing other than audible activity, because it's not a distraction. Nova Contractors is here monitoring, engaging in the sex offense with them. You're understanding what is corporate entity conduct by the state that stalks in helicopters. It's attributed to Nova Contractors, who's been engaged in the pattern of conduct. Again, as I moved to this private space, which is in Los Angeles, that was July of 2023. There would never be any sun outside of my living room window. No sunlight like you saw. The entity was aiming. As soon as I start recording camera, showing you what is already captured, the light source at the same time is not going to be through any windshield of the bus at Inland Island Empire and Haven Avenue in Rancho Cucamonga en route to Fontana, where I'm capturing video at 10 o'clock in the morning. I've already captured the light source here at 10 o'clock in the morning. You already know what that is, and you know what the purpose of it is, and it's documented impunity. That's why you're talking about a widespread federal prosecution. You're removing minor children from demons like that, who's getting on top of a roof. He is not engaged in landscaping. This is a whole desperate demon right here, and so is that. Okay, I want to make sure that you understand that these are the elements of monitoring that are underway, and they're captured, surrounded by that evidence, and they continuously show their obsession and that impunity, the threat that they are to American citizens in this country. The light source remains here, already documented, but also real-time disappearance act of that light. You saw it inside of my apartment while I'm documenting Nova contractors, the moment that I capture video at the same time, which is speaking to equally probative and compelling evidence of what is demon possession and a demonic environment. And you're witnessing the operation of a leaf blower by a demon. And you're witnessing their obsession while they're continuously engaging in audible activity creation, and a psychopath that's looking to the left and the right, a psychopath that crosses path in that same environment, entering into their apartment where they're monitoring and engaged in state surveillance. She's also going to be prosecuted because the LAPD is monitoring you through that camera. All right, criminal presence and the maintenance of mechanisms to engage in further surveillance. I want to make sure that you understand all 59 units here are going to federal prison for what you're witnessing. There will never be any sunrise or sunset. There would never be any sun over the Alvarado Gardens apartment complex. And you're looking at in nature, it would never be, the sun is never going to be present for 11 plus hours. None of that is ever even sunlight that you're seeing. So this is documented impunity, like I already pointed out. So this is a demon that's engaging in an ongoing obsession to continue. It's not a distraction to you. You're looking at the elements. While you're looking at them engaging in that ongoing obsession, let me be clear, Jung Kim, that's what this demon's name is. They're already anticipating because they're engaged in Title 18. The people of the state are all going to be prosecuted for surveillance on the venue of the internet with communication devices and state surveillance with the entity. All right? This is LAPD that's acting through a demon irrelevant position. That's the reality. And you already know that LAPD is obsessively stalking. They're wearing diapers because they're so heavily stalking me. All right? They are in operation of this white truck right here. That's the people of the state acting with LAPD who's sounding helicopter. I want to be clear who they are and where they're coming from, and let me see the identity of this third party. It's not a mystery to the federal government. And he's also posing a threat to my life while the entity sounds helicopter activity. This is why Don Noggle's going to federal prison. So I'm showing you how the ongoing connection of the dots, it is inevitable, and it is consistent, and it's all occurring under what is not ever going to be a shield of Omnitrends. Omnitrends, that driver of that bus is going to federal prison. Let me be clear, those are sex offenders that were sitting on that bus while my body was being molested with what was not even sunlight, because they're obsessively stalking, just like you see them doing here today. That ongoing impunity of walking right by, that stalking in your face, that's why she's going to federal prison. Her and every other unit that's filled with third parties. And it's surrounded with evidence of what is never going to occur, that the sun is over Alvarado Gardens, that the entity is just casually sounding what is helicopter activity by the police department that's minding their business. No, it's not. It's the hallmark of what is stalking in an environment that's a scientific impossibility, and that is capturing that light source that remains over me, street for street and turn for turn, Route 61, on this same day at the same time. All right, while the entity is engaging what is rising and setting a sun, it's outside of my leasing office window. This is what Nova Contractors is engaging in, Smart Janitorial is engaging in. That's exactly what you're looking at them. This is somebody that arrives at the facilitating venue, a demon that's focused on you, using their outward activity to engage in criminal elements of monitoring, which is demonic activity. It's a demon. And it's a whole population of them. That's prosecution for terrorism. And it's a violent sex offender who knows when my panties are down and waits until the moment that I walk out so he can start his audible activity creation. It's the same with all the people of the state here. They live with children. They're going to be removed from the custody of the people of the state. They are a threat to American citizens in this country, and they're a threat to the minor children that they are currently in custody of, while they engage in terrorism with demon-possessed and highly corrupt police agencies as the LAPD and the Ontario Police Department, who engaged in kidnapping and criminal summoning, as you see how that entity acts together. And this documented act of impunity at 8:42 in the morning, the light source is remaining here from the beginning and the end of the day. The link to what I was doing on April 26, 2022 for the duration of the day is directly juxtaposed with what the entity has already been documented engaging in from the beginning to the end of the day. Stalking with a fake sun, because they're all demons stalking in the path with engineer light. That's what demons do. This is the criminalization of demonic activity. Okay, so I want to make sure that you understand Jung Kim, while the entity is stalking in helicopter 24/7. All right, she's acting with impunity while she's crossing path in plain sight, engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, a violent sex offender monitoring with Iris Carnero while that demon crosses path and molests my body with engineered light. A demon engaged in criminal obstruction of justice while speaker company is a third-party company engaging in what is harassment while the entity flies over my office in a helicopter and the light source is hovering above and the entity is engaging in what is asking questions that they know the answer to. Psychotic behavior, which is serving to harass you as an entity. Joan Kim is going to be prosecuted for that. All right, while she crosses path under the light source, nowhere through a windshield of Route 61 at Inland Empire and Haven in Rancho Cucamonga. This is impossible light activity, a downward trajectory of what is supposed to be sunlight. A downward trajectory, creating the shadow of, this is how you know the direction of light, and it's impossible. There is no sunlight that's going to be over Route 61. So I want to be clear, you're going to drain the pockets of Omnitrans. All right, engaging in state surveillance, not only federal stalking on the venue of the internet, with communication devices, in concert with the corrupt government, threatening the life systematically. That light source remained over me on all bus routes that I got on at all times of the day, while the entity is engaging in the same pattern, which is revealing the demon-possessed population engaging in criminal surveillance in the state. All right, and then engaging in what is obstruction of justice and harassment and intimidation as a demon-possessed entity. That's relevant, okay? Because this is all demonic activity, okay? So I want to be clear, while you're witnessing that impunity, that's included the generous provision of audible activity by this demon in relevant position, knows when my panties are down, knows exactly when I'm walking outside, knows what I'm looking at on my phone, engages in what is the facilitation by a demon that crosses path. Understand the significance of that. That's what you just saw. And then you hear the entity in the background, the demons using helicopter. That's what Iris Carnero was engaging in yesterday. Crossing path with a minor child in custody, mad because her sex offense is documented, and then she's engaging, crossing path again in concert with that demon-possessed entity using helicopters. All of them are going to federal prison. It's currently, again, 8:44 a.m. This is why they're going to federal prison. They will be subject to what are mental examinations. They will be listed on a group, listed that which will be published by the Department of Justice and maintained by the Department of Justice, revealing what is a secret system, no longer a secret in the United States, that the government is engaging in what is criminal surveillance. And that in many ways, we are cooperating with that ongoing invasion of the privacy of your entire life. You're giving up information with regard to where they're going. You're talking about deep psychological analysis of the people who are under surveillance as well. And this is what the demon-possessed want to do. They want to not only own your liberties under the Constitution, which again, an ongoing agenda to even change that, but you have what is ongoing distraction from the significance of it altogether, but you also have what is an ongoing obsessive endeavor to study those whom are placed under surveillance. And this is what is relevant to all of your heart that you're pouring out on your social media, telling all of your business, all of your deep wants and desires, while you're being subject to what is surveillance by a demon-possessed population. Understand that. It's not just about knowing where you're at and what you're doing and what you want. It's about a deep understanding of the human being, the psyche behind those who are placed under surveillance, and that's by a demon-possessed entity. All right, and it is acting through a government, and there is a criminal purpose for it, a nefarious purpose for it. So I want to make sure that you understand that this evidence is going to be uploaded to the P.O.C. folder. This is what Nova Contractors has been engaged in for a prolonged period of time. Remember, all the entity did was engage in what is heightening that threat to my life, which was they started flying directly over me multiple times a day by helicopter. That's a direct communication of a threat. And upon engaging in that act to threaten your life directly, having engaged in a pattern of kidnapping and criminal summoning and the manufacturing of malicious charges to defame you and then kidnap you by the same entity that's aiming this light source, which is not possibly the sun, over the courthouses where the same pattern of conduct and the same demonic activity is underway. I want to be clear, make sure that you understand that the entity is engaging in that communication of a threat. So Nova Contractors, who was monitoring today, they've been monitoring. They've been a part of the entity. That's civil and criminal prosecution in concert with the demon possessed that live at the entity, just like Joan Kim demonstrated for you. It's not separate when I go downstairs and I'm in the office. You already know that. The light source is over me at my office. The engineer light is all inside of my office. The demon possessed are coming inside and outside of my office, threatening your life, threatening your safety, your well-being, molesting you with light while they're driving off the property. That's what you saw Iris Carnero. These are the demons that live at the property. They're going to federal prison. These are the demons that engage in criminal summoning, by the way, as the entity has already shown. All right, and this is all demonstrated and established through what is evidence at 8:33 in the morning, where there is not possibly the sun that's over my apartment creating any sunlight down the path or inside of my apartment, magnified through closed blinds, by the way, closed blinds. Remains for the duration of the day through the bedroom window. That's how you know that that's a stalker and a demon-possessed one. And it goes for all of them that live here that are going to federal prison. There is no sun that's through the windshield of Omnitrans, the identification of not just a stalker, but a demon-possessed one. And I am surrounded by those getting on and off the bus and those that are in traffic. It's state surveillance that I'm capturing while I'm showing you the light source through that windshield at Inland Empire and Haven and Rancho Cucamonga on Route 61, headed to the Fontana Lewis Library at 10 o'clock in the morning. And you already know where the light source is at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's right here because this is where the state is engaging in that criminal system. All right, that's documented impunity. That's going to, I'm going to run this tape in court when the decisions to remove the children from the people of the state are made in federal court. I'm going to run this tape in court when the decision to disband the Los Angeles Police Department is made. I'm going to run this tape in court with regard to the enhancement of time in federal prison with regard to the people of the state who act with impunity and engaged in federal stalking, because they are engaged in an ongoing obsessive endeavor to continue monitoring you. And that's why the light source is here. That's why the engineered light is here. It's not the natural environment under any circumstances ever, nor is that the natural environment over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court or over, and that's at 9:47, that's 1 hour from now, 9:47 daylight savings time. That's the specific environment over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court at 8303 Haven Avenue, as I documented in June of 2021, the same time of year. Daylight savings time. That's the specific environment over the San Bernardino Superior Court, not the natural environment, speaking to the exact same condition, the exact same criminal system. All right, state surveillance in positions for purposes of engaging in this criminal system, as I documented in the courts as well. Okay, this is why Thomas Garza is going to federal prison. Kimberly Appaloo, for example, she's going to federal prison. All right, Lynn Ponson, she's going to federal prison. I can go down a list because I've got their bar numbers, I already documented them, and I documented the specific environment. At 9:47, an hour from now, the sun is not over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. That's the light source that was over me at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. The same environment that you're seeing here, which is not naturally, and nor is it ever happening at the same time. This is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 8:49 a.m. and that's the significance of having the light source over me while I'm on Route 61 at 8:33 in the morning, and all of that pattern of conduct that I just documented right now by a demon holding a leaf blower, that's audible activity with simultaneity to what they know I'm doing on my phone. That's the federal stalking criminal system in violation of Title 18. Coming up and crossing paths to communicate a threat and hostility, that's the passive aggressive demon possessed Joan Kim, who's going to federal prison. Also, to be legally relevant, is the cameras that she's got aimed on at the specific in the specific environment while group stalking the targeted individual in order to aid the state that is engaged in state surveillance. I want to be clear on that. That's a communication device and operation of the internet. She's monitoring and engaging in state surveillance. This is what this is, and that demon-possessed group stalker Iris Carnero doing the same thing. All right, it is currently again 8:50 a.m. and this is P.O.C.